eficaz, con unos profesores únicos que les motivan y despiertan sus ganas de aprender. Date prisa antes de que desaparezcan las últimas plazas que nos quedan. Llama ahora al 91-133-5832 o entra en grupovaughan.com.
Empower your English. Empower yourself. Campamentos de inglés sin salir de España. Tus hijos hablarán inglés divirtiéndose, siempre acompañados de nuestros monitores Vaughan. Realizarán talleres, actividades, veladas nocturnas y todo ello en inglés. 91-133-5832.
La radio que te entretiene, te acompaña, la radio que te enseña. Esto, lo que escuchas, es Vaughan Radio Madrid, 100.4 FM. Los cursos trimestrales de Vaughan son ideales para gente que necesita resultados a medio plazo y a un precio asequible. Descúbrelos en grupovaughan.com. Aquí comienza Inglés Online TVE.
Hello, everybody. Hello, friends, and welcome to the program. Today, Inglés Online TVE. And on this program, we will review the content of our show on Channel 2. Eso es, en la 2, on Televisión Española, on Channel 2. Today, class number 56. My gosh, we're racing through the classes, right? And for those of you who are just connecting, maybe you saw my previous show a few minutes ago on the other channel. Vaya, tecnología, no? Here we are with all the wonderful technology. But today you can follow us, as always, on this channel, Inglés Online TVE. Inglés Online TVE is the channel. I think we've made also some improvements to the lighting and to the studio here. Very exciting. And so remember, today what we're doing is reviewing the content of the course, Inglés Online TVE. You can find the entire course at Curso de Inglés Online TVE.com. If you'd like more, we give you a lot of great content here every day. Be sure to check out the videos. If you missed the show on Televisión Española, you can find the programs all repeated, each class repeated here on our YouTube channel. Be sure to click subscribe, and you'll get all the new programs as they come out. And every day I review the content of the show. Okay, today it's time for class number 56, and we welcome our participants here in the chat. Antonio says, hi, Kyle, how are you? Pretty good. Thank you, Antonio. I'm doing fine. We have Escamilla. Escamilla writes in. Says, hi, Kyle, how was your weekend? Very good. And Dudonel says, empower your English, empower yourself with Kyle. Well, well, thank you for connecting, Dudonel. Lots of people joining the chat, joining the fun here today as we explore class number 56. Let's get things started.
Nivel básico.
All right, the sentence today, nivel básico, the sentence we're going to look at is as follows. They're going to come here before midday. Van a venir aquí. They're going to come here before midday. Now, this leads us to ask the question, what is midday? Mediodía, claro. Mediodía, midday. But here we have, of course, the way we quantify, the way we talk about time in English. We have 12 o'clock, which is noon, 12 o'clock noon, or 12 o'clock midnight. Las 12 de la noche, 12 o'clock midnight, 12 midnight. Y mediodía, noon, 12 noon, which is why we say afternoon. If it's 12:01, it's the afternoon. Whereas in Spain, you don't say por la tarde, buenas tardes, when it's 12:05. You say buenos días. So in Spanish, the morning typically lasts up until about 2 o'clock. Whereas in Anglo-Saxon culture, is where we have the word afternoon, después del mediodía. And it is exactly that. It's afternoon. And noon is 12 o'clock, right? So they're going to come here, the sentence, van a venir aquí antes del mediodía, before midday. They're going to come here, van a venir aquí. And this also reminds me of the expression on time. And another expression, in time. If you do something in time, it means to do something before too late, before it's too late. Look, like when you go to the post office and you mail a package, which I do sometimes, I mail letters internationally. If I'm mailing a letter to Canada and I take it down to the post office and I say, is it going to go out today? They say, yes, you're lucky. You arrived just in time. Is it in time to go out today? This means, is it not too late? Is it before the deadline? Because I know that at 4 o'clock in my local post office, they pick up the mail. Between 4 and 4:30, they pick up the mail and then they take it to a distribution center. So if I arrive with my letter at 3:45 in the afternoon, if it's a normal day and they're behaving normally, the pickups are scheduled, las recogidas are on schedule. Then if I go to the post office at 3:45, I will be in time. I won't be late. I will be in time to have the letter go out that day. So in time means not late. On time is a little bit different. On time means punctual. It means not late, but also not early. I arrived right on time. Right on time. Or the show, like in radio, it's very important that things happen on time. I can't start my show late, but also I can't start my show early. Because if I start this show early, it means that I'm taking time away from someone else's show, or I'm taking time away from some advertisements or something else that is scheduled. So radio, just like television or other things, everything has to happen on time. Everything has its moment. It's punctual, and that is on time. Whereas in time simply means not late, right? Did I get here in time, or have you started without me? If I don't get there in time, feel free to, start eating. They say, look, we're having a dinner. The food we're going to start eating at 2 o'clock, or lunch. We're going to start eating at 2 o'clock. If you're not there in time, we're going to start eating without you. Right, so we have in time and on time. But our sentence today, the beginner sentence was, they're going to come here before midday, antes del mediodía. So people are writing in. Nelson says, hi, Kyle, it seems there's a lot of sunlight in the studio. Yes, the evening sun is pouring into the studio. No, we're using a light. But yes, it does look a little better, I think. It takes the shadow away, I think. It looks pretty good. Dudonel says, in time and on time. What's the difference? Well, hopefully, yeah, he wrote a few minutes ago, so I explained that. He says, thanks, I get the difference. Good, thank you. Webster, hey, it's our friend Webster who's writing in from the Dominican Republic, Tino. Do we have a little Dominican jingle for Webster? No, maybe not. He says, does this program, cuidado, Webster. He says, does this program is transmitting early? You can say, is the show broadcasting early? No, we're right on time. We're right on time. And he's writing in from the Dominican Republic. Oh, there we go. That's Tino's Dominican Republic music. We're working on getting some jingles for all the different countries that are connecting here and enjoying the programs. Belen, our good friend Belen. Hi, Belen. She says, hello, good evening, everybody. Nice to have Belen joining us today. Thank you for connecting. Hey, let's move on. One more time, the sentence, the beginner sentence. They're going to come here before midday. Van a venir aquí antes del mediodía. They're going to come Going to plus infinitive. Going to come, going to go, going to eat it, going to have it, going to fix it. I'm going to drive there. I'm going to go home. I'm going to make a phone call. Right? Going to plus infinitive. They're going to come here. Venir aquí antes del mediodía. They're going to come here before midday. Okay, let's go ahead and take a look at today's intermediate content.
Nivel intermedio.
Intermedio. That's right. Intermediate, everybody. Class number 56, the intermediate sentence today. Who's going to set the table? Hey, who's going to set the table? Which is a good little sentence. And let's see here. We have the vocabulary of setting the table. Que es ponerse la mesa, ¿no? Ponerse la mesa, to set the table. Poner la mesa. Yeah, to set the table. So how do you set the table? Well, you have, you're not gonna ponerse la mesa. That would be very difficult. I mean, it could be possible, I suppose, in some situations, but I don't know how you do it. Yeah, to set the table. And I think some people also say to lay the table. But that's not, no, in at least in North American culture, we say to set the table. So to set the table, you're going to put down your plates. Right? You have a plate. Maybe you have a bowl, un cuenco, no? You have a plate, bowl, and then you have what we call the cutlery. So you have fork, the fork, tenedor, fork, knife, cuchillo, and spoon, the fork, knife, and spoon, right? So, and you're putting that out. Maybe you're going to put a glass there. Maybe you're going to put a saucer. Maybe you're going to put una taza, a cup, or a mug. Or it could be a coffee cup, and underneath you may have a saucer, what we call a saucer. So that is called setting the table, to set the table. And then after the meal, you can clear the table. So to set the table, poner la mesa. Eso es poner la mesa, to set the table. And then afterwards, when the dishes are dirty, you clear the table. Judah says, set the table, and after eating, clear up the table. Yeah, I would just say clear the table. So sometimes in households, you have an arrangement where you say, look, I cooked the meal, so you have to set the table or clear the table and tidy up and do the dishes. As the British would say, do the washing up. As Americans would say, do the dishes. Right? So yeah, here, who is going to? ¿Quién va a? Who is? And we're contracting it to whose. Who's going to? So sometimes it's difficult to realize how to write these words when we say whose, because here we're saying who is, and we're contracting it to whose. Who's talking? ¿Quién es? Who's at the door? Who's that person? Who is contracted whose, which is pronounced the same as the word whose, W-H-O-S-E, which is de quién, which is another question word which causes some trouble, right? So we have this question word whose. Whose seat is this? Whose chair is this? And notice how the object always directly follows the word whose. Whose chair is this? It's my chair. Whose computer is this? It's Vaughn's computer. Whose show is this? It's our show. Whose keyboard is that? It's Tino's keyboard, right? Teclado. Whose? So even with indirect questions, we also say, we also put the object directly after the word whose. We say, whose pen is this? I want to know, quiero saber. I want to know whose pen this is. So, whose pen? Well, we're going to change the order from direct to indirect. We don't change the order of the whose and the object, right? I want to know whose pen this is. The boss wants to know whose pen this is. Whose show is this? The boss wants to know whose show this is. Could you please tell me whose show this is? Right? So whose is a word that causes some trouble sometimes. It's challenging to some people. And whose is pronounced the same as the contraction of who is. Like our sentence here. Who's going to set the table? So this is the other form of whose. W-H-O apostrophe S. And there's also another meaning for whose, W-H-O-S-E. There's another meaning of whose, which is cuyo, or cuya, or cuyos, cuyas, right? Tino is the man whose daughter is young, for example, right? Alberto is the man whose father lives in New York. Or Alberto is the radio host whose father lives in New York. We could say Fitz is the guy whose sisters all live in Ireland. Fitz is from Ireland, and he's the guy whose sisters live in Ireland. Kyle's not the guy whose sisters live in Ireland. Fitz is the guy whose sisters live in Ireland. So that's another way. Yes is right. So that's another way of saying, of using the word whose. So cuyo in that case. Okay, the intermediate sentence. Who's going to set the table? Pues yo. The short answer, I am. I am. If it's Tino, it'd say he is. Y ellos, they are. You are. I am. We are. Who was here yesterday? I was. Actually, no, I wasn't. Who was here on Friday? I was. Tino wasn't. Juanjo was. Yes. Kike was. Was he here? Yes, he was. So here the short answer. Who's going to set the table? I am. Yo. Who's going to set the table? I am. Okay, there you go. That's our intermediate sentence. Let's push forward and take a look at today's advanced content.
Nivel avanzado.
Nivel avanzado. Yes, people are writing in. Belen says, Kyle, do you set the table? Yes, I do. Yes, I do set the table, of course. To set, ponerse la mesa, to set the table. Our advanced sentence today. They'd planned to be at Tom's for a day or two, but in the end, they stayed there for 5 more days. My gosh. They planned to be at Tom's for a day or two. Right? They planned to be. So it was their plan. Era su intención. No, it was their plan. They planned, pensaban, estaba, pues su intención, ¿no? O era su intención, supongo, ¿no? Mejor, ¿no, Tino? It was their plan to be there. They planned to be at Tom's for a day or two. But in the end, in the end, they stayed there for 5 more days. I did that once. Actually, last Easter, I went to Andalucía. I went to Jaén. I did. Remember, Tino? I went to Jaén. I went to a village, and I planned to be there for 2 days. And in the end, I stayed for a week. I had a good time. I didn't need to be back for work, and I was having fun. So in the end, al final, I stayed for a whole week. Yeah, they had planned to be. They had planned to be at Tom's for a day or two. Durante un día o dos. Un par de días, right? A few days, right, Tino? They planned to be there for a few days. But in the end, pero al final, quedaron 5 días más for 5 more days. They stayed there for 5 more days. Oh, they really enjoyed it, evidently. Right? They had planned, habían, pensado en, they had planned to be at Tom's for a day or two. But in the end, they stayed there for 5 more days. Okay. We have people writing in. Aralina says, Kyle is the man whose program is great. Oh, thank you very much. Oh, thank you very much. Whose? Cuyo. Oh, Kyle is the man whose program is the best. Oh, thank you very much, Ara. Thank you very much. So whose, yes, meaning cuyo. Another interesting use. But yes, our advanced sentence today, I'll just read it one more time, then we're going to try a few sentences of translation, all right? We'll do this. They'd planned to be at Tom's for a day or two, but in the end, pero al final, they stayed there for 5 more days. Wow. Very good. Okay, a lot of people writing in the chat. If you have any questions, feel free to participate in the chat today. Right now, I am on the channel Inglés Online TVE, and you can write in and participate with any questions or comments. But why don't we try a little bit of translation, Tino? Shall we do this? Tino loves translation. So I said, all right, sure, no problem. We can do a little translation. ¿Cómo que no? De vez en cuando, every once in a while, it's worth doing. Okay, here we go, everybody. Tino was off on holiday, and he came back today. I said, Tino, how are you? And he says, me siento como un hombre nuevo. I feel like a new man. Yeah. Me siento como un hombre nuevo. Is that how you feel, Tino? Do you feel like a new man? Yeah.
Yo mismo.
Claro. He was gone, and I saw him right before the show. I said, Tino, how are you? He says, I feel like a new man, como un hombre nuevo. Okay.
Salvajemente.
Eso es. Number 2. Siento como estuviera flotando. I feel as if. Now, Chema raises a good point. Chema says, Kyle, give us a few seconds. Danos un par de segundos, por favor. Okay. Siento como si estuviera flotando.
What are you, drunk?
Siento como si estuviera flotando. And you can write this on Twitter if you on YouTube if you want. Antonio says, I feel like I'm floating. But here, como si estuviera. Here we have as if. Como si estuviera. I feel as if I were floating. Also, Ada says, how do you pronounce the contraction they had? They'd? Yes, they'd. They'd. They had? They'd. They'd have helped us if they could have. They'd have arrived earlier if they could have. They would have. They'd have. Okay. Nelson says, I feel as if I were floating. I feel as if. Como si estuviera flotando. As if I were floating. Number 3. No me cuentas la misma historia otra vez. No me cuentas la misma historia otra vez. Eh? So tell me how to say this. No me cuentes. También, I was just testing Tino's ear. I was just making sure he was prestando atención. Right? And he says, claro, hombre. No me cuentes. There we go. No me cuentes. Don't tell me. Well, you can write in on Twitter if you want. There's Chema. He says, don't tell me the same story again. All right, good one. No me cuentes. Don't tell me the same story again. No me cuentes la misma historia otra vez. Don't tell me the same story again. Alguien tendrá que venir. Alguien. Claro, alguien tendrá que venir. Someone will have to come. I know I didn't give you much time. I'm sorry. One more. We'll do another one here. Levántate y contesta al teléfono. ¿Cómo se dice eso en inglés? You can write it in on the chat. Mándame un mensaje. Send me a message on the chat here on YouTube. Levántate y contesta al teléfono. I'll give you a moment to write in. We're just about out of time. We have another minute. Levántate y contesta al teléfono. Chema says, stand up and answer the phone. Yeah, that's good advice. It's true. Stand up, levántate. Right? Ponerse de pie, stand up. Antonio says, get up and answer the phone. Webster, stand up, stand and answer. Stand. Stand and answer the phone, the telephone. Very good. Lots of people with the right answer. Well done. So the sentence today was, levántate y contesta al teléfono. The final sentence, get up, stand up for your rights, was it? Yeah, Bob Marley. Por tus derechos. So Bob Marley, it's kind of the same thing, get up and stand up. Right? Levántate, ponerse de pie. Get up, stand up for your rights. Yeah. Okay, we're just about out of time. I have to get up, stand up, and leave the studio because Dave Boyes is going to be here in a minute with the salad here on Vaughan Radio. Stay tuned for that one. I'll be back tomorrow with another edition of the program Inglés Online TVE. Antonio says, what's the best? Well, it's up to you. Get up, stand up, either one. They're both fairly common. All right. Thanks for listening, everyone. This has been class number 56. And be sure to click like and subscribe. You can join us every afternoon here with our chat on YouTube. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.